That song by Carl Carlton is a song that when I was younger, I just knew that he was singing about me. And, you know, totally out of my range of experience, but I loved it so much. I love the beat. I love the message. And I like to think of myself as a bad mamma jamma. It was just a term that I thought was something good to embrace.
Well, that's the 70s. Everybody, hey.
Yeah, what?
Hey.
80s.
80s. Well, I'm saying they're taking the 70s slang. Hey. Hey there, Stephanie Renee, you bad mamma jamma. What, you want to go down and get some poking ribs?
Oh, shush. But I pulled that out today because I think it is an excellent description of our first guest on today's program. But we want to welcome Mike D into the studio for this week's edition of Reelblack Radio. How are you, sir?
Well, I was at the KRS-One show, so it gave me life.
Nice.
Although it also remind me how old I was. There's nobody under 30 up at the show. They had seating. The first time I was at a rap show, it had seating.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's different.
But people came out. People came out and invigorated anybody that was there. And then Rakim's coming at the Dell. It's going to be a great summer.
Yeah, it definitely is. So we'll fill in on that. But one of the reasons why our next guest was invited to join us on today's program is because a week from tomorrow, she will be coming to Philadelphia as the guest of AARP and United Healthcare to talk about how we maintain wellness and fitness into our latter years. And it is, you know, it's not often, Mike, you know this. I don't generally stand for photos and videos that go viral. You know, I like to stay informed, but it's not my thing. But when photos of this amazing woman started appearing on my social media timelines, I was like, what? How fierce is she? And how much do we need to learn from her about how to take good care of ourselves in every particular moment of our life? So I am delighted that we can now welcome onto our airwaves the world's oldest bodybuilder. And to me, that has nothing to do with how fabulous she looks and the lessons that we hope to get from her today, Miss Ernestine Shepherd. Miss Ernestine, thank you so much for joining us on Word Radio today.
It is my pleasure. How are you?
I am well, thank you. And got to tell you, I am totally jealous of the work that you do and how fabulous you look. And people in our listening audience really need to know more about your journey to wellness and fitness, because this isn't something that you embraced, especially not in a competitive bodybuilder way, until you were a senior. Is that correct?
Right. That's right.
So tell us about how you came to bodybuilding.
Actually, it was a vain reason. My sister and I didn't like the way that we looked in bathing suits. So I told you the same. So what we did, we went to a college and started exercising. And then after that, we saw the changes in our bodies, and we were so enthused about it. So we decided what we wanted to do was become really a bodybuilder and to do shows. And we wanted to try to enter the Guinness Book of World Records and get in Ripley, believe it or not. Isn't that something?
Yes. No, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Now, I was just going to say that, you know, one of the things that I love just about what you've shared with us thus far is that there are so many conservative folks out there who say there are things that our elders just should not do. And so even probably the idea of our elders hanging out in bathing suits is something they wouldn't necessarily co-sign, yet that was your motivation to get into stellar shape.
That's right. That's just what it was. And then plus, I did my first bodybuilding show, listen to this, at age 71. And I won that show.
Nice.
And I failed to tell you that my sister had died from a brain aneurysm. But before she died, she wanted me to remember what she said, try to motivate people to live a healthy, happy lifestyle. And don't you know, I'm jumping the gun a little bit, that is what a better you is about. And to work with them, it is wonderful because they embrace aging with vitality and plan for a healthy lifestyle in the African American community. And that's what it's all about, getting the seniors to know that they can be healthy. Let them know that age is nothing but a number. And I want to bring this point in. On Saturday, June the 9th, from 10 to 2 p.m., I'll be at the African American Museum, 701 Arch Street, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and let them know that this event is free.
Yes.
They can get so much from this.
Now
you hear me. Mm-hmm.
Ms. Shepherd, you just done did it. You know, you got a lot of followers on Instagram. You know, Black Don't Crack. You know, so I'm sure you're going to share some advice on the event on the 9th, but for our listeners, can you just give a couple tips? Because I'm looking at your photos on IG. There's no way you're 81. I think they messed up with these records. Obviously even though you got into bodybuilding, you must have maintained certain standards of living leading up to that. What are some of the keys? What are some people that are my age that I should take heed to?
Some of the keys to living a healthy lifestyle is to make certain that you eat correctly. And that's what I do day in and day out. I don't ask people to eat like I do, but I eat a lot of chicken, tuna fish, and turkey. And listen to this. I drink liquid egg whites. That gives me the protein that I need. Then I'll have baked potatoes, white and sweet potatoes, brown rice, my vegetables, and I make certain that I drink plenty of water, and I do not eat late at night. And I keep my body in motion. I'm constantly doing some type of cardio. All of this is very, very important.
Thank you.
And, you know, the whole idea of, you know, as Mike said, you know, we say good black don't crack. I look at you and literally you and Angela Bassett are inspirations to me.
I love her.
because you radiate a certain dynamism from your photos. I haven't had the pleasure of seeing you in a bodybuilding competition. I've just seen the photos, and you are always radiating confidence and attitude in the way that you present yourself. And people should understand that, you know, any kind of lessons that perhaps we got from previous generations about how elders are supposed to, you know, sort of settle down after a certain age, or what they're supposed to do. You know, we've got to leave some room for revising some of those rules and guidelines, and just living our best life in the time that we have in this world right now.
That's true. That's really, really true. And I tell you, I'm up every morning. I'm up at 2:30. I have my devotions. Then I'll meditate. Then I'll have my breakfast. I leave the house about 3:30, 3:45, and I go running, and I do both run and walk. And I'm out there for 2 hours. I enjoy that. That keeps me healthy. I suffered at one time with depression, and I found out that getting out, moving, and running, boy, oh boy, it gives you a different mood. I feel so much better than getting up to the gym, working out, and training others. And I spend my time training others. It's important because, gee, you'd be surprised as to how many letters and cards I get from people saying that I have motivated them. And I say that I am absolutely, positively nothing without the love of all the people, because they help to make me who I am. They really do.
Yeah.
It's important.
It It is indeed. And one of the other things that what you just said that I hope people are taking in, some people might not be able to do the early morning routine like you do, but the idea that you make movement and fitness a regular part of your routine also goes against the stereotype of the idea that our elders just, once you are not necessarily working a full-time job and what have you, in these years where you're embracing now, you still have a routine. You still have something to get you out of bed, to get you motivated, and to keep you healthy.
That is so true. And then I also tell people that I train, so you may have a backache. You may have a leg that's bothering your shoulder. Don't let that stop you unless the doctor really says, hey, you can't get up. You still get up and move. You don't let anything stop you from moving and keeping that body in motion. I do it every day of my life, every day. It's so important.
Excellent. Yeah. So I'm reading your bio. You're running marathons and 5Ks and 10Ks.
Yes, I love it. It's so wonderful. And guess what? Not bragging. When I do the marathon, in my age category, I always come in first place. And don't think that those ladies who are in my age category out there running are any chumps, because they can run. Do you hear me? They can give me a run. I enjoy it.
Was it dedication, determination, and discipline? Those are the keys?
It's my mantra is determined, dedicated, disciplined to be fit. And if you follow those 3 Ds, no matter what you are doing, you will not fail, because you have to have determination to make you get up and move. You have to have that dedication. And, man, you do need that discipline. And that's so important.
So do you ever cheat?
Very, very important.
What's your cheat day look like?
Well, I don't, believe it or not, I do not have a cheat day because I enjoy everything that I eat. And I like to practice what I preach. If I tell people that I'm doing this or I'm doing that, I want to make certain that I can back that up. I would never, ever want to tell a lie to someone and not really be doing it. So I make certain that I do that. Now, what I do, if I want something that's sweet, do you know I like unsweetened Jell-O?
No.
And I eat that. Yes. That is excellent. I stick to that.
So now you do sound like you're 81.
It would say no. She says
that's what my grandmother loved. Jell-O.
That's discipline, though. You gotta crack it up.
Guess what? I will be 82. Listen, I will be 82 June the 16th.
Ah. Very nice. Well, we wish you an early birthday. And that leads me to my next question, which is, a lot of people who don't have good practices chalk it up to the fact that they didn't necessarily get the good genes. Right. And so I wonder, in your family, are you, not that I expect everybody in your family to be a championship bodybuilder, but do you come from a family that has, a relatively thin build and a relatively, longevity in terms of their ages? Or are you the exception to the rule and you're now taking it and running with it?
No, my family has good genes. My oldest sister is 85 years of age, and she dances. She goes to various communities and gets out there, and they have dances, and she's out there having a ball. Then I have another sister who walks, and my mother lived to be 92 years of age. My father lived to 89, and there were 6 children in total, but the sister that I palled around with mostly, as I mentioned, had a brain aneurysm.
Yes.
And she died from that. But for the past 26 years, I have kept going what she said she wanted. So I tell people, when you make a promise, you got to keep it. And I made that promise, and that is what I'm doing. And then again, if you don't mind, I would like to relate back to a better you. They are involved in what I practice all of the time. And they will have the persuasions there at the African American Museum. And, you have fun. And not only that, you learn a wealth. You get a wealth of education from being there. They provide so much information about health care. And each time I'm there, I learn a little more information on health care. And it's really wonderful. It really is. But back to me, if that's what you want.
No, I appreciate the fact that you are reminding people that they can come meet you. Like I say, I've been a social media fan of yours for years now, and the opportunity to speak to you about this is so important because, I don't think enough people understand that we can be so, we resign ourselves to not feeling good, not looking good. And everybody gets their motivation from a different source about what gets them into fitness and taking better care of themselves. And everybody is not going to be, hourglass shaped or whatever their, mind's eye tells them. But everybody can be healthy and can live into their golden years with a quality of life that allows them to be independent and strong.
That's right. But I would still like to say this. Steps for a healthier life. Number one, drink more water. The body needs water to digest food and absorb nutrients so your cells can communicate with each other in order to eliminate waste and to regulate your temperature. The next thing, portion control.
Yes.
Your meat portion should be the smallest food portion on your plate, not the largest.
Right.
The next thing, the color of food on your plate matters. Your plate should look like a rainbow of colorful food. Food that is orange or red has beta-carotene. Dark green vegetables have potassium and dietary fibers. Foods that are blue, purple, crimson, or brown help with brain function and blood flow. The color tan, like in oatmeal, may help reduce the risk of ordinary heart disease. And another thing, stop eating late. Eating late will contribute to obesity, acid reflux, and a host of other problems. After 6 p.m., your body starts slowing down and does not need the extra calories for energy, so it will be stored as fat. And the last little tip, put your body in motion for 30 minutes or longer, 4 to 5 days a week. And these 5 things will help you to a healthier life.
I love it. So I know you're in the Guinness Book of World Records since 2010
Yes.
as the oldest performing female bodybuilder. Did you make it to Ripley's Believe It or Not?
I certainly did. Guess what they call me in Ripley's Believe It or Not?
What?
Granny Six Pack.
Okay. Gotta love it. If you can dream it, you can be it.
That's right.
I'm gonna start working out right now.
You are such a wonderful example for all of us about how to be beautiful, about how to be strong, how to take good care of ourselves. And I'm so glad that you're bringing this message to Philadelphia, because we've got some health challenges year after year. The city of Philadelphia, and Philadelphia is both a city and a county. Out of the 67 counties in Pennsylvania, we are always dead last when it comes to health assessments. And so we have got to collectively put our brains and our bodies on a better path. And you can help inspire so many folks in our Word Radio listening audience with your leading by example and sharing with the audience that I know will be gathering with you for a better you next Saturday, June 9th at the African American Museum. So thank you so much for making some time for us this morning. And we look forward to greeting you next week when you're here.
I'll see you.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, wow. This would be wonderful.
Well, I very much look forward to it. I don't know if we can take a selfie together, though, because you're going to make me look bad.
Oh, I'm going to get you.
But we appreciate you spending time with us on the air today. You take care.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
Bad Mama Jamma.
And again, ladies and gentlemen, that is champion bodybuilder in both the Guinness Book of World Records and Ripley's Believe It or Not. Granny
and my
Six-Pack,
WCW, Bad Mama Jamma. Granny Six-Pack.
Ernestine Shepherd. She will be speaking at this year's A Better You, which is a series of complimentary health and wellness educational events that are presented by AARP and United Healthcare Insurance. And that will all be taking place on Saturday, June 9th at the African American Museum, of course, at 7th and Arch. They are our friends. And if you want to find out more information overall about how to RSVP, about the entire program that they are going to be presenting as a part of that event, you can go to abetteryou.info. Again, that's abetteryou.info. Minister Wanda Addison of New Hope Temple Baptist Church will be there in the morning. Reverend Robert James McFadden of Resurrection Baptist Church will be speaking in the afternoon. There will be live music, and the famous vocal group a cappella masters, the Persuasions, will also be singing. So it's going to be a good day.
Oh, by far, yeah. And
it's free.
Ernestine's social media is Ernestine.Shepherd. For those who
and Shepherd, P-H-E-R-D.
Yeah, and E-R, you know how to spell Ernestine. No, no A. I can't. It's still early for me.
So yeah, so definitely go check out her photos. You will not believe how fabulous she looks at 81 and all of the ways that she can inspire us to just do better. Everybody's not going to look like her, but we can all be in better shape and take better care of this physical vessel that we are gifted with for this time we have on Earth. So we're going to take a quick break and come back and continue with today's edition of Reelblack Radio here on Word Radio. Stay tuned. Continuing our celebration of Black Music Month 2018 from a compilation called Giant Step Records Presents Sessions Volume 1. That is my thespian writer, just brilliant brother, Carl Hancock Rux, with a song called Lamentations. You Son. And, his delivery of spoken word and on these musical compositions that he's released over the years is sort of half preaching, half poeticizing. And when you put it over house music, there's very little that can go wrong. It is an experience, and I am glad that he is a part of my musical collection as well. We are talking about generations coming together and how they inform and invest in us, the kind of energy that helps us keep pushing through. And so whether we're talking about wellness with Miss Ernestine Shepherd, or whether we're talking about what's happening on the big, small screen and to people that are associated in those worlds of culture, proliferation, that is how we do it here on Reelblack Radio.
Indeed. And while clearly I should lose weight, I'm going to listen to all of Miss Ernestine's advice and just kind of just like, instead of like the rainbow, just throw sriracha sauce on everything. Will that create the rainbow effect that she wants?
Although chilies are good for you because it promotes
just some green Tabasco and red.
What word am I searching for? When you process your food quickly and efficiently, yeah. So so spicy things help with your metabolism.
Okay, all right. I'm gonna work at it, but I need to get my weight up. I'm as long as you're poverty stricken, you don't have the freedom of choice of just eating like organic all the time and everything.
That's not true.
I need a better job. I need a job, please. Everybody, I want to be the person that they call when white people are in trouble, just to like sort of help them negotiate the issue of race. Like I want that job, because Stanley Nelson got that job from Starbucks. I know he got paid more to do that 7-minute video than he probably got from PBS.
Well, listen, I'm not saying that income is not a factor, but I'm saying that while you live here in Philadelphia with the incredible urban gardening movement that we have in this city, and with all the farmers markets and everything else, you do not have an excuse for not buying healthy fruits and vegetables.
I need a club of people like me then, because I do, when I buy produce, I don't eat it fast enough. It goes bad. I feel like I'm wasting money that way.
So folks in the listening audience, especially those of you who live in North Philly, if you live by yourself, or just cannot do the quantities that you might get from some of these places, go half on a bag of kale with Mike.
Just fix me a plate, make some greens, fix me a plate, bring it over to the station on Friday. I'll eat it, and I'll compensate.
You need to learn how to cook the stuff yourself, man.
Single life. I'm sorry. I apologize, but yeah. So the Starbucks thing, it was actually, this is Racism Week in Philly, because they had a whole big town hall at the Prince Music Theater and MSNBC.
We had an event at the African American Museum on Wednesday, being Reelblack.
Tied in with this fact that Starbucks closed all their stores.
All of their corporate stores
in the United States, 8,000 stores. They said it cost them $16 million to be closed for 2 hours, which was a big up. Organo Gold stock skyrocketed in those 2 hours. I don't know if people followed that. Black people, get your money. There's ways for all of us to benefit off of racism. I'm just saying, give me a job making a film to tell people about themselves. But none of this would have happened if it was the 70s. Morgan Freeman wouldn't have happened. Somebody walk up to Morgan Freeman and he's, "Oh, you look ripe." He was like, "Come on, brother, please. Just get out of my face." It didn't have to escalate to some Twitter article. People do this to make money.
Well, listen, I'm not saying that some of the allegations upon closer inspection against Morgan Freeman are a little suspect. I'm just saying that people are just too free. Sometimes we are too free when it comes to the way that we interact and are suggestive with one another. Until you have that liberty with me, you should probably hold back on the way. But an old man who operates in a space where he should still know better, because he's an old man.
But the problem isn't that you're offended by him saying, "Oh, you look ripe there, bad mama jamma." It's that it works sometimes for Morgan. Like that's his go-to. It has operated to his benefit from time to time.
Well, one of the things I will say within the context of how we interact with one another, older men were taught to have better game than younger men generally have. Okay. Younger men do not know how to speak to a woman that they are attracted to. And it flips on a dime from, "I'm trying to get to know you better," to calling you everything but a child of God when you rebuff them. And that's the kind of thing that women are wary of, just in general, in this climate that we live in right now.
So give me the job to make the film about the sexual harassment. Like, look, I'll just bring Positive K out and have him say, "I got a man. I got a man." Like,
it's not about. Then we get into issues of possession and how we view agency. If I don't want to smile for you, if I don't want to talk to you, then leave me the hell alone. After we have if I have respectfully said to you, "Brother, I'm not interested. Brother, I'm not in the mood." Well, leave me be. Do not spend the rest of your energy trying to convince me that I should feel, look, say something different. Let it go.
Well, clearly, all these social media scandals are indicative of social problems that we have across the board. I won't take away from that. And if you have, but I'm just saying, like, some people just need to talk and know how to tell people to shut up and not have to write tweets about, oh, this person said this about me 10 years ago.
Right. Well, that's agreed, but that is not the case with Roseanne, which we want to hit on briefly.
Okay, what's your feeling? I mean, we did a whole podcast, me and Charles, about it. What are your feelings on it?
Just very briefly, and I talked about this yesterday. Is I want to know, Ambien or no Ambien, what the hell had Valerie Jarrett on Roseanne Barr's mind at 2:00 in the morning? Why are you tweeting about me at 2:00 in the morning? Insult or not? It was so.
I think she was triggered by another tweet that somebody referenced Valerie Jarrett's name. She saw her picture and she thought it was a funny joke.
They look alike. If you see Mike's promotion for this podcast that you just mentioned with you and Charles Wood, you put a picture of Roseanne Barr next to a picture of Valerie Jarrett. If she's insulting Valerie Jarrett, she's insulting herself because their looks are very similar.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, I'm not defending her. I think audiences, I mean, the talk I with Gary, it's like it's like Twitter, it invites everybody to do like a Rorschach test. What do you think about this? What do you think about this? And it's like half the people that respond to these things, especially in a negative way, would never never consume a Roseanne show in the first place. They weren't fans. They don't support it. I mean, now clearly ABC is in a position where it's like, look, if we continue to support this show, we're going to lose ratings. This could cost us our own business. There's like, look, we got to cut you loose. There's no, like, life is too short for anybody that creates controversy. So gotta go. I get it. But Roseanne, if it's unfortunate that a lot of people working on the show are not going to be working next year. But, these kind of things go away. I feel like I feel like on a certain level, this is the kind of thing that you could let it go past. And she was begging for a job. Just go find some money somewhere and go make the show like Louis C.K. Just do like 8 episodes and keep them in the can someplace. And then when it blows over, you can get your money back. But I don't think you're not going to jail for this. And it's just Roseanne being Roseanne. And if whatever her excuse was, she should just stay off Twitter. And people warned her to stay off Twitter.
So this is, and she has supposedly suspended her account indefinitely at this point. But this goes back, y'all who are watching on Facebook Live, look at me. Those of you who are listening on the air, hear me. At some point, you have to put the phone down. Throughout the course of the day, especially in those late night hours, she was clearly already suffering from insomnia. So you taking Ambien and then choosing to stay on your phone and stay on social media is not helping you go to sleep. Hello.
Right.
So part of it is, do not disturb function goes on my phone at 10 p.m. At that point, I don't care if you're calling me for an emergency and you call me more than once, then there are settings that allow that call to get through because they assume it's an emergency. But those random Twitter notifications, Facebook notifications, text messages, whatever, I'm not gonna get them in the middle of the night. Not gonna get them because I have set my phone so that I'm not constantly plugged in. At some point, you gotta put it down and live a life.
There's a doctor, they're saying like all this stuff emits radiation. Your phone never goes off. It's always radiating you. I mean, it's not good to have your phone on and near you at all times anyway.
Right.
But I mean, does the punishment fit the crime? And I say in Roseanne's case, no. But part of the reason is because we have so many options for entertainment. Like this would have never happened in the 70s. First off, the ABC would have covered for her in the first place back in the day because she's too valuable an asset back then. But audiences have too much power and we have too many choices. When there were only 3 channels to look at, we had more. We had to sit still. Like, okay, we don't like the Waltons. All right, we're gonna sit through this anyway until Sanford and Son come on.
But the randomness of the attack is also part of the issue with this. It would be if she had established beef, like think back to Trump and Rosie O'Donnell, right? If you have established beef, and then at some point on your Twitter account, and we're going to talk deeper about beef in the next segment, but and you end up insulting one another. People have some framework for why you all were engaging in the first place. This is what I'm saying. There was no context for Roseanne engaging Valerie Jarrett.
A few years ago, she called another person ape and things like that. She needs to be careful. She needs to be careful with her words. But I'm just saying, like, my solution, I think, and this is all this sort of crime and punishment goes back to the Roman days, cut off their head. And then we want repentance. We want somebody to confess and say, yes, I'm sorry. And it's like some of the stuff, I don't think there should be apologies for, but I think that a smart executive should bring back the battle of the network stars. Because
yes,
there's going to be a lot.
People can work that stuff out.
It was punishment back in the day anyway. It's like Lee Majors, it's like, it's bad enough we're not paying you, but now you got to do an episode of Battle Network Stars to show that you really are physically fit. Like, I want to see Morgan Freeman and Roseanne, and we're going to talk about Drake, all these people, just put them on the Battle of the Network Stars and let them embarrass themselves physically for our entertainment. And maybe jiggle a little bit, bring some people in that have no talent whatsoever, but maybe some Instagram models or something.
You actually said, and let them jiggle a little bit.
That's what the 70s were about.
Oh my Lord!
We had there was no cable. We had to wait for Three's Company. That's all. We had to tune into 57 and look between the wiggly lines because everything wasn't available to us. And I think that the problem is we have too many choices, too much time on our hands, and we lose patience. So the fact that the 70s were better for us because we had fewer choices, we're all forced to digest the same information and therefore be indoctrinated into the same culture. It might not have been fair, but at least there was a set of rules that we could all agree upon.
But there was also the turn it off. And so for young Stephanie, rather than, there were shows that I like to watch and shows that I don't understand why my family let me. I couldn't watch Good Times, but they let me watch Dukes of Hazzard. So, I'm still making peace with some of that. But I would go put on albums and make my own variety shows in my basement. It wasn't about constant consumption. It was about finding ways to innovate or at least, interact with the culture in a different way than just sitting there and having it fed to me.
When you were reading the Judy Blume books and the Encyclopedia Brown, I always assumed the Encyclopedia Brown was black because of his name, even though the cover told me different.
There was nothing black about Encyclopedia Brown, but I did like the name.
Me. I said, I'm Encyclopedia Brown. But yeah, we had way more choices for our imagination. But I'm saying the punishment should be Battle of the Network Stars.
And with that, we'll let you meditate on that through this final commercial break. And we'll come back and we're going to talk about beef.
Pole vaulting.
More Real Black Radio after this. You all know that I've told you the minute I ever heard Note 1 from Celia Cruz, I immediately pictured my grandmother's face. And when I saw her, I was like, oh, Lord, they must be distant cousins because they look so much alike. But this song in particular is one of the favorites from La Reina. And this is from a new album called Ultimate Duets from Arturo Sandoval with some of his favorite performances with some folks that are still with us and some who have passed on. But this particular performance, of course, is with Celia Cruz, and that is her song Kimbra. And that's just good stuff.
Yeah, I noticed just on the feed, looking at Shadow Knack, that they're going to do an English language version of this
of the miniseries.
Of the I don't know if it's a.
It's not a miniseries. It's 80 episodes on Netflix, folks. If you want to check it out.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't read the whole article, but there's an English version of Celia Cruz's story coming. Just as there's going to be a documentary. It's Stanley Nelson who called in recently, finishing up the authorized documentary on Miles Davis. So for all those who were disappointed in Don Cheadle, they'll have a chance to see the real story from the real person. And I hope one day, I'm just showing you this, sharing with this the sign. I met Karis One again last night, and he signed my Philosophy 12-inch.
Nice.
And then I have video of this, and then this always gets you freaky. Like for those who can't see, I got the original wax pressing of Ghetto Music, the blueprint. And I had the sticker on it. Sound of Germantown, $5.99.
Wow, Sound of Germantown. I didn't even know there was a Sound of Germantown.
Oh, yeah, right. Germantown, Shelton. So,
okay.
So it's still my record collection.
Right around the corner from where I used to live.
So yeah, I'm officially an old head now. So I for me, rap beef was LL and Kool Moe
and Kool Moe D, right? Yes.
But there's a new rap beef happening in the streets, y'all. Pusha T and Drake.
So first of all, I find myself very hard pressed to consider Drake a rapper. and I don't listen to his music. So I just want to state that for the people who are the culture vultures who tune in to us each week. I can't. No. Listen. I cannot do whiny men on any level. I cannot do whiny men. I've dated one man that has a relatively high-pitched voice, and every time he talked, it would make my skin crawl. So that didn't last long.
He used to call me on my cell phone.
That is funny. That song is funny. That's about one of the only ones I can take. But overall, people who are diehard Drake fans, I can't take the whiny.
It's the ambient.
It was like one moment with Keith Sweat. I can't do it.
Well, you have to understand. This is sign of the times. Like, popular music, especially hip hop, reflects whatever the drug of choice is at the time, right? So if you listen to disco music, it was all about cocaine. Yes. Right. Everything's hopped up 140, 50 beats a minute. Yes. Right. And then when you get to My Philosophy, folks is definitely swinging on that angel dust.
The boom bap.
And
it was a different kind of
they're lacing their weed with the angel dust, and it's like, da 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 da.
We called that Love Boat in DC.
Where are we going? 808s, like even like Schoolie D, like the documentary was showing, like he said, man, I was up all night hitting that 808, and I was like, it's like, man, you're seeing things, you're taking whatever level that you're on. So now we're just like, everybody's talking Molly and Ambien and
right. These are downers,
heavily sedated, and just like almost on the verge of like, what if I kill myself?
Well, I mean, but that's why it's mumble rap. They don't have the presence of mind to articulate. It's
Pusha T was not mumbling this week.
Well, listen, I had to look up Pusha T because I was not familiar with him.
That guy made all his money. He's one from the Clips, selling crack, and then still selling crack, even on the new album that Kanye produced. He's stuck on that drug tie, but he put out a 7-track banger.
I have not heard
to the point
song.
where these guys, he took their little crack money and spent $86,000 to get the rights to a photo of Whitney Houston's drug collection. Yeah, very poor taste, and I guess to compensate for that faux pas, Drake had to get in there and come at him because on one of the tracks on that album, Pusha criticized Drake for, again, they have an ongoing beef because he uses ghostwriters and he doesn't feel like he's an authentic MC.
Yeah, so this has been a build-up over the last couple of weeks, ladies and gentlemen.
So Drake, he said, this is going to be light work, and look what I did to Meek Mill. This is going to be easy. Go find one of the old beats, and he put a record out.
It did not work out well for him. For those of you who have no idea what we're talking about, I just want you, all you have to do is go online and Google Pusha, not Pusher, Pusha, P-U-S-H-A-T, Drake beef. And then you will get an immediate inundation of links that you can listen to, watch, response videos that will help explain to you how the term battle rap has been forever altered because Pusha T clearly has a team of investigators, or just because they've been working in close concert for years, he knows all of Drake's business, and Drake really should have thought twice before he engaged with this brother about criticizing something he did, because Pusha T put all his business in the street. I've never ever witnessed somebody who has so thoroughly been outed about his personal life in the context of a battle rap.
To catalog, all right, so the criticism, the initial criticism was, I don't like you, Drake, because you use ghostwriters. You're just a performer. You're not a real MC. So Drake comes back with his response, Duppy freestyle, and he says, well, whatever you have to say, I'm gonna bring your wife and your kid into it, right? So he said, all right, bets off. So now the latest one, the story of Addion, he basically takes a loop of the Jay-Z's story of OJ and questions Drake's race. And the cover of it is a photo and his
Drake
loyalty
in blackface.
Where he got it, we still haven't figured it out.
No, Drake released.
He said it was it was part of a project. I spent 15 minutes watching this movie that he claimed was the project was a part of, and there's no blackface scene in it. So I don't know if he was trying to investigate if it was a promotional thing. It's clearly not photoshopped or doctored. It's him basically looking like Savion Glover in Bamboozled.
Yes.
But to be fair, it was from 10 years ago. But the music is what is probably more indicting, because it comes out that Adion is the name of his son. And
no, his son is Adonis.
But he's going. The premise is that he was planning on releasing a shoe with the kid's name on it. And
first of all, Drake named his son Adonis.
Okay.
Just let that sink in for a moment. So yeah,
he has a child out of wedlock by
with
a
French stripper and porn star.
Big booty, PAWG, porn star. Yeah, from France.
That's her stripper name?
I think her Instagram has some booty in the name of it. Yeah.
Okay, so yeah. So if you want to go sliding down the rabbit hole and reading up on all this stuff, you are welcome to do so.
It's there to sell records.
It is. It's gonna sell some records. But Drake, who is already whiny, I've explained this to you, is not winning any man points with his lack of appropriate response, because Christian comedian Kev on Stage has said at this point you got to fight him. Like, there's no other way to restore your honor other than going and basically going up in this dude's mouth, because he has just taken your whole life and trashed it in a mixtape. And it's
skeletons in your closet. What is it, Stevie Wonder?
Woo! It's a lot.
Stevie Wonder's like, can I see the picture? Really? Oh man, that's bad, Drake.
Yeah, it's bad.
You gotta get those things wiped as soon as you get famous. And you knew you took the picture, Drake. You needed to go circumvent that years ago.
Or put it out yourself and explain it before somebody else comes out with it as ammunition.
Keep that photographer well paid forever. Right. Don't let things like that come out. I mean, that's that's almost as bad as the Dr. Dre photo from Royal Last Wrecking Crew that Easy used in the video.
Oh, the one with the frilly shirt?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's a lot.
And then Prodigy.
But we got to go, Mike. We got to go. Yeah, but I want to make sure before we leave, Prince's birthday is next Thursday, June 7th.
60.
He would have been 60. But for those of you who have a guilty pleasure love, as I do, for the film Under the Cherry Moon, it will be screening at World Cafe Live this Sunday, the June 3rd at 11:30 a.m. as a part of a brunch event. So you get good food, you get a chance to see this horribly plotted, beautifully shot film, and just hang out. And Questlove did an exclusive video that they're going to screen prior to the film, where he, of course, because he was such a Prince fan and a love of the music, and they're going to have live music and a DJ set after the screening. So it's going to be a lot of fun. If you want to go commemorate, then that is where the cool kids will be gathered on Sunday.
Yeah, and it's on my Instagram. Friday the 8th, the day after Prince's birthday, we're gonna, at the United Bank building, or the bank, we're gonna screen our Prince tribute that we showed 2 years ago after his passing, so you can continue the vibration of
live a purple life all next week.
I'm sure you're gonna be hearing a lot of Prince music the next week. Just know that he's there.
Indeed. And with that concludes this week's edition of Real Black Radio. Always fun, Mike D. Brother Shamari is coming up next. Keep your dial locked here on Word Radio. And for those of you who plan to join us for tomorrow's Park West Festival and our Wellness Pavilion, I will see you hosting from the main stage from noon to 4. Take good care, folks.
Lights, camera, action, it's on. New black film revolution born. Movers, shakers, big and little filmmakers. Let's make a movie today, see where it take us. Halle Berry, Denzel, and Jamie. Terrence Howard, Mike D, and Spike Lee. Brand new filmmaker born every day. Put a camera in his hand and let him lead the way.